everyone, today I thought I would do a bit of a different video. I have been thinking of doing this video for a really long time. As you can imagine, there are certain reasons why I didn't want to. I've never really spoken openly about my mental illness before, so it's a little bit scary putting yourself out there, but the older I've got, the more I've spoken to people, the more I've heard their stories, and the more I've learned about it and experienced people who have either committed suicide or have attempted to. I feel like this is a really important video to make. I know that everyone always talks about there being a taboo about talking about it, and I suppose there is, and the more people do talk about it, the more people can realise that they can talk to people, even if it's not a therapist, if it's just a friend, a family member, or even someone online who they don't know. It's really nice to just know that you are not alone going through something like this. So that's why I'm making this video, basically. When I was younger, I was probably the happiest kid you could imagine. I loved outside, I loved bike rides, I loved being a kid, and then you grow up in high school, and throughout high school I would say I was fine. Like, I had my friendship group who I loved, and nothing ever really was wrong then. I was always really happy, I always got with my work, and everything was great. I would say for me, it started when I was 17. I'm not entirely sure what triggered it, but in my mind I think it was driving, which is a really weird thing to, I suppose, trigger depression. I was getting frustrated with myself for not being good enough, and I think that was where everything sort of kicked off and got worse for me. Sometimes you can have everything, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're happy. You can be a millionaire but still feel so down and so alone in the world. So I first realised I had a mental health problem when everything got dark. I was purposely excluding myself from everything and everyone. I was acting, I suppose, quite mean towards a lot of people. I was quite aggressive, and I just liked my own company, and it got to a point where I felt like the whole world was against me, and I just felt so alone. I felt like I was always in a dark room, no matter where I was. I'm not gonna lie, I loved college, it was fantastic, but it was, towards the end it just got so hard, and I was missing so many lessons, and I just didn't care. I was always someone to care about my grades. I always really wanted to be the best I could, and towards the end I just didn't care, and I suppose it really sucks. I still came out with alright grades, I still got distinctions and stuff, but I wanted more. I wanted more than what I got, and I feel like if I didn't feel the way I did, I could have come out with more, so that sucked. At my worst, I felt quite weird. For me, it's quite hard to explain. You just do. You just feel like you're in this room of darkness, and you feel like you're never gonna be better. I just felt like I was gonna be in this black hole of nothingness forever. I felt so alone and almost ashamed as well to feel that way, because I know people who have lost parents, like mums, fathers, and they're so strong, and so I was so angry at myself as well for feeling so down for no reason, for something so stupid that I couldn't even put my finger on why I felt that way. Got a runny nose. Another thing when I was at my very worst was that I would always get very anxious to eat. I don't really suffer from anxiety, and I was always very anxious to eat, and so I stopped eating for a long time. I would always make food, I would get ready to eat it, and I would get about one bite into it and I would feel like I would want to throw up. I think for a month I probably ate a biscuit every other day, and that's all I was living on. And a lot of water, to be honest. I do love water, I can't deny a good bottle of water, but I was living off very small foods, and I was becoming very skinny, and I was very angry at myself for not being able to eat, and so I would punish myself. I can't quite think of how my mind worked, at the time. I would exercise, I would go running to sort of keep my mind off the pain of being hungry, even though that was probably making me even worse and even skinnier. It was a confusing time. My mental health problem means that I have highs and lows. Sometimes I can have more highs than lows, and sometimes I can have more lows than highs. I can wake up one day and feel very happy and grateful to be alive, and it just feels like the sun is shining, and then some days I can wake up and I just feel dark and it's weird because you don't feel sad, you feel empty, and I think that's the worst thing. You just feel like you're a hollow person. And I think the person who explains it best is J.K. Rowling when it came to the Dementors in Harry Potter. Most people know, but for those of you who don't, they are symbolism for depression, because J.K. Rowling herself had depression, and I think she explained it amazingly with those kind of characters. What my bad day consists of is basically laying in bed feeling awful. I won't eat. The hardest thing about having a mental health problem, I think, is talking about it. Even just talking to this camera right here, I feel scared, and I don't want people to think I'm crazy, because I'm not crazy. I just have days where I do feel really down, and I just need people to be aware and almost be there for me. Like, I need comfort, like when I'm feeling down. I feel more comfortable knowing that people are around me than when they're not. I'm happiest when I'm with people. For me, what makes me feel better is seeing people live their lives and seeing that happiness is around. My dog, just seeing the innocence of my dog makes me feel happy. Watching YouTube videos makes me feel happy. Dilly Grissy, who I'm really into at the moment, she literally just makes Sims houses, but like her personality just makes me feel happy. But yeah, I just don't want people to think that I'm crazy, because I am still me. I am still the same person I was in high school. I just have more down days than I did then. I'd like people to treat me normally, and to be fair, anyone who does know about me does treat me normally. Not everyone knows the extent. Some people do, because they're around me enough to see it, and they're around me enough to know when my bad days are, and I don't even know. I just want people to treat me like normal. When I'm having a down day, I don't want them to dwell on it. I want them to keep conversation going, keep it normal. Unfortunately, 1 in 4 people roughly have a mental illness, whether it be an eating disorder, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, anything that affects the mind. 1 in 4 people have it. If you're in high school, you could be sitting in a room of 20 people, and there will be a couple of people that have either experienced or are going to experience a problem, or are currently going through a problem. And I think the problem is that in high school we're not educated about it. I didn't know what depression was. I've heard of it. I've heard people even be like, oh, I'm depressed, blah, blah, blah. But it's never really dwelled into. You never really understand it until you're going through it, or know someone who's going through it and see what happens to them really as a person. My advice would be to remember there are beautiful things out there, and that there is always going to be one person out there who cares about you. Think about how you will turn their lives around if you were to leave. My advice would be to talk about it to your best friend. If you feel like they won't be there for you, trust me, they're your best friend for a reason. They're going to accept you no matter what's wrong with you. You could have 2 heads and they'll still love you because they're your best friend. What I want out of this video is, I don't even know if I'm making sense throughout this video, so I apologise if it's all rambled and confusing or doesn't make sense, but what I personally want out of this video is to help one person, or for people to understand. What I want out of this is more awareness. I find it very interesting hearing other people's stories, and I find it comforting to know that I'm not alone. I have heard of people committing suicide. I've known people who've committed suicide. I've had very close people to me attempt suicide, and I think it's very important for us to keep talking about it, because it's so easy to feel alone. It is so easy to feel alone. So I don't want this to be a really long video. I hope it hasn't been too long. I just wanted to get the basics of my mental health story. There's obviously a lot more to it than what I've said. This video for me is insanely hard to make because this is scary. I'm just talking to a camera right now, but this is so scary. I feel like I've got a million eyes watching me. Even though I don't, I'm hoping that my courage will give other people courage, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. I'm sorry if it's not the kind of video that you like watching or are interested in, but if you did enjoy it, do give it a thumbs up, and again, if you want to leave comments about your situations, then do, because the YouTube community is amazing and there will always be someone to give you a kind word. I will see you on my next video, and I hope you have a good day, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are.
Nobody quite like you, got me falling through and through. Straight to the top, I'm tumbling. My roller coaster's